Number 1. Packaging.
What we're doing essentially is recreating what happens in nature. So mycelium recycles debris on the forest floor. So we do that same process, but within a bespoke tray or mould to grow packaging to protect products in transit.
The moulds are filled with agricultural waste, which has been treated with mycelium. As the fungus feeds on the waste, it grows to fill the mould. After around 4 days, most of the growth has happened. And a few days later, after being sterilized in a kiln, it's ready. The company wants to replace polystyrene packaging and says its mycelium alternative is just as strong.
The difference is it's a home compostable material. So once you've finished with the product or the end user gets it at home, you simply break it down into small pieces and then it will go back to the earth within 35 to 40 days.
But not everyone is convinced that the idea can work at scale. IKEA ended a trial with the company's US partner, Ecovative, saying it wasn't possible to scale up to make it viable at industry level. Number 2. Coffins. When we die, chemicals from embalming fluid and coffins can pollute the soil where we're laid to rest. The World Health Organization says that ideally, bodies and coffins should decompose as fast as possible. Bob Hendrick started making coffins out of mycelium after learning about its ability to recycle dead material.
Then I thought by myself, hey, if they can turn death into life, why are we not using it? It just makes a lot of sense to be buried in a mycelium coffin. So actually sort of an organism party on your body that allows new life to flourish instead of, sort of waiting with your body for 10 to 20 years and polluting soil.
It normally takes over a decade for a body to fully decompose, but Bob says his coffins can cut this time down to just 3 years. At nearly €1,500 each, for many people they're unaffordable, but Bob wants to see living materials in other products soon.
My shirt is going to grow with me, we're going to live in houses. Street lighting is going to be lit up by algae, for example. I have this vision of this whole new world, and chapter 1 is the living coffin.
Number 3. Insulation.
We've spent about 40 years in the construction industry trying our hardest to get rid of mould in buildings, and trying to convince contractors to put fungus in a building is quite a difficult one to get their head around.
But this mycelium insulation won't start sprouting mushrooms, and the company behind it says it's ideal for keeping heat in.
There are a number of things about mycelium that make it really unique and make it incredibly suitable for insulation. One of those is just the incredible highways of mycelium hyphae, which are like the little hairs or the roots of the mycelium that it creates. And what that does is it traps a lot of kind of air bubbles. So it makes it really good for insulating properties.
Mycelium's properties also make the panels fire and water resistant. And the company says that making the panels sequesters carbon, so they could be a greener alternative to other insulation. However, production only began recently, so it remains to be seen how many architects and builders will want to make the switch from more traditional insulation.